just tell you, I had so much trouble with calculus in college, and I remember studying really hard, going through, getting like an F on my first exam, and just going, what am I going to do? I can't get into the computer science classes that I really desperately want to get into until I get through Calc 1. And I just remember sitting in the parking lot at the university thinking, like, do I quit or do I just try harder? And I just thought, I got to try harder. And so I just pictured like, okay, who knows calculus really well? I'm going to go bother them. When's the TA hours? When's the teacher's hours? Like, I knew everyone's schedule. After that, I looked it up, started making that a priority. And I think even then I might have still got a second one, and I pushed harder and harder, and I got a C-. I got through it. And there's just been a lot of that in my life. Coding is actually, for me at least, it wasn't like super easy to pick up. My first language was like getting into Bash, and I was learning all sorts of stuff on Linux and the command line, and I got into PHP, and then I got into some low-level C, and I had no idea how C worked, and I was like, this is really confusing compared to Bash. And so I was, pretty much a noob, and I could make things work, but I couldn't tell you why they worked. And I don't feel like college led me to be successful, but it taught me how to teach myself. And then once I kind of unlocked that, now I feel like, well, if I don't know it, I know I can go learn it. And that's where I think that don't give up attitude comes, is if you don't know how to do it, don't say, I don't know how, and just shut the door. Just say, well, I'm going to go learn how then. And then even talking to, not my kids yet, because they're 3 and 7 months old, but talking
the
to
7-month-old's the one that really needs the life advice, right?
Yeah, he does. Like, hey, you're almost crawling. Just get up all the way up and start crawling. No, I think talking to, sometimes it's my nephews, or sometimes it's some younger cousins. And sometimes, I just ask them, what do you like doing? Or, what do you want to do after this? And, I know there's that whole, like, don't pressure anyone to figure out what their life is going to be before, at such a young age. I've heard that before,
Really?
Yeah, where it's like, I don't know but I'm kind of like, what's the point in asking somebody whether they want to know if they want to do something, or if they don't know what they want to do yet? It's just a question, right? But I've ran into some people who are like, by asking that question too young, you're putting pressure on these kids to have it all figured out at age 15 or something. But
I mean, when I was like 6, I wanted to be a fireman.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, I don't think that's a good idea, Sarah. And I was like, I want to be a fireman.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we went and visited the what do you call those? Fire halls,
Fire station?
Yes, fire stations. Yes, those. We went and visited a fire station, and, I saw the firemen and I saw their truck, and then I decided that maybe that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But I think every kid has something they probably want to be. Right now, my daughter's like, I'm going to have 2 kids. And I'm like,
nice.
I hope you have a career too.
Yeah. Well, my point out of that was there's a lot of times I've asked this question to some younger individuals, and they almost put themselves down and kind of like count themselves out of the race. Like, well, I'm not really good at math, and so, I'm not going to go.
That's like a common thing. Everyone's like, that's their exit. I'm just not good at math. There's no other subject that people say, I'm just not good at social studies.
Yeah.
People do that for math.
Mm-hmm.
I had to teach math at one point to like high schoolers and college students.
Yeah.
And that was like, I'm just not good at math. So that's my little soapbox. I was like,
yeah. Well,
it's just a bunch of rules. You just got to learn a bunch of rules and apply them.
And then when you get to the higher level math and you figure out, wait, there is real world application for this, then I think it gets really exciting again. I think the thing that really got me fired up was figuring out that how a calculator really works was using like sequences or series behind the scenes. And I was like, oh my gosh, that, lines up with programming and technology and how this calculator works. And so that was really cool. But yeah, a lot of kids are saying, I'm not good at math, and so I don't think I'm going to go for that STEM degree. And I'm like, no, please do it. Like, the future is using your mind. It's not always this brute force kind of stuff. And I think there's plenty of hard workers who are doing manual labor, and I'm not saying anything bad about that, but I'm just saying I think the future where automation's going is, everyone's going to have to be using their minds, or the majority of humans will. And I had one other person tell me, this will probably make you really angry, because I don't know. It's just somebody said, well, a real man's job is working with their hands, and I'm not going to do any of that, techie stuff.
Have they looked in an IT department? I'm like the only girl 90% of the time at any meeting ever. Like, do they understand most of IT as men? I mean, if men want to give it up, that's fine. Well, I'm sure the ladies will have no problem taking over.
Well, I think women are proven to multitask better than men. So, I mean, I know my wife does more than me. So, but yeah, I mean, just comments like that where you're thinking, okay, now you're saying certain roles are for certain sexes, and I wanted to punch that guy in the face. Just say,
well, that's kind of like a personal jab, because you are a man in technology.
It was my brother-in-law, and I was like, dude, but I have a roof over my head. I provide for my family, and I'm going places, but you're living out of your truck right now, like, and you're saying, like, because this all came out of, I basically offered my brother-in-law, I'd say, come to my house, shout at me, I'll teach you how to work, I'll get you the curriculum you need. Like, don't need to even go to a coding boot camp. Like, I will get you to where you need to go. You just need to show up and learn. And there's those people that, like, I guess that's where the hard grit comes from, is if you want it bad enough and you're going to put the time in and you're going to take it serious, I think you can learn anything you want in this life. And that's what I was trying to inspire out of this guy. But
I've noticed that insecure people lash out at other people. So usually if someone says something insulting to me, I realize they have a problem, and that's why they did it, not because I've done anything wrong. And so I think he's just might be afraid to try.
Yeah.
And it's probably really daunting to sit at a computer for some people.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of us, everyone's like, come on to the dinner table, stop coding.
That's true. Yeah. And I mean, maybe that happens in other, other vocations. Like, my best friend is a nurse. He's a guy, but I think traditionally there's a lot more women nurses than men. And so I think he gets a lot of questions of like, why isn't a woman in here, or something like that. It's just messed up. It's like, come on, if you want to do it, go and do it, I
mean, looking at things that are traditional roles, to take like a slight deviation, a lot of roles that were previously women, when they started becoming a high earning area, men flooded into that area. For example, brewing a beer used to be a side hustle that women did, and then men realized that it was profitable, and now it's mostly male dominated space. Same with computing. It mostly was a female space. About everyone's seen the spaceship, one where all the computers were women, so it isn't me just saying things. And now it's extremely male dominated. The next area they actually see this happening in is nursing. Nursing is a well-paying, low, like you don't have to do a lot of education field. And so that space is starting to see a lot more men, and they're expecting it to be male saturated because men typically go for higher paying roles. And thanks for listening to Sarah in Tech. Feel free to email me at sarah@sarahinTech.net. or follow me on Instagram at SarahInTech. Hope you enjoyed listening.